All right. All right. You ready? Seems like everybody's got a price. I wonder how you're feeling tonight. When the sale comes first and the truth comes second, just stop for a minute and smile. Why is everybody so serious? Looking so damn mysterious, with shades on your eyes and heels so high that you can't even have a good time. Everybody look to the left. Everybody look to the right. You guys ready? About ready to go live? In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. I'm just doing a sound check, guys. Checking out the YouTube feedback loop. Says start of autumn 2025. Readings in Magick. Are you ready? Yeah, I think it sounds pretty good. I think we're doing good. Excellent. With no further ado, run the intro.
One of those old Frank Monday productions coming at ya.
Okay guys, our next comedian is a bit of a treat, to be honest. It is a bit of a treat. He's been away for 3 years. He is now back from the dead. Well, America. Give a big round of applause for Frank Monday.
Thank you, Nick. Appreciate that shit. Nick's a good man. You know what that's like, being a good man. It's tough in a fucking city like this, though. You know, nobody gives a fuck. They're like, God damn, that's some crazy shit. Motherfucker wearing high heels and shit. Looking good, too, huh? Yeah, you guys like that. That's all right. It's okay to fall down occasionally. I do that sometimes. All right, being back in the G is pretty fucking nerve-wracking. You know, performing for 4 minutes straight. The only other time I get this anxious when I gotta perform for 4 minutes straight is when I gotta make love to my wife.
Onion ring. Yeah, they're all right.
Hey, be watching for the Star Wars blog Rebellion coming out in December. You'll love it. It's follow-up to the award-winning Generations. Oh yeah. There you go, Frank.
Here's my burger. All right. There it is there. Los Angeles, California. I believe this beach scene is Huntington, probably near the pier. So there you have it, Frank Monday coming at you once again like Finnegan. So if you've got a yen to expand your kin, then let's get zen, you and me, baby. From behind the bamboo firewall, in the central kingdom of the celestial dragon, Twilight Zone, Old Peking. Welcome back, Wayfarer. Wherever you are, whoever you are, and whenever you may be receiving this transmission, I hope you're doing well. It is August 9th. Today, by the Chinese lunar calendar, is actually the start of autumn. So that's why I named today's transmission Start of Autumn 2025. And yeah, we're going to get into it. So I hope everyone's doing pretty good out there tonight. Let's start off with the invocation of Tahuti. If you know it, say it with me.
Invocation of Thoth. Procul, O Procul esti profani, or lasti ompeda. In the name of the mighty and terrible one, I proclaim that I have banished the shells unto their habitations. I invoke Tahuti, the Lord of wisdom and of utterance, the God that cometh forth from the veil. O thou majesty of the Godhead, wisdom-crowned Tahuti, Lord of the gates of the universe, thee I invoke. O thou of the ivy's head, thee I invoke. Thou who wieldest the wand of double power, thee I invoke. Thou who bearest in thy left hand the rose and cross of light and life, thee I invoke. Thou whose head is as an emerald, and thy nemes as the night sky blue, thee I invoke. Thou whose skin is of flaming orange as though it burned in a furnace, thee I invoke. Behold, I am yesterday, today, and the brother of tomorrow. I am born again and again. Mine is the unseen force whereof the gods are sprung, which is as life unto the dwellers in the watchtowers of the universe. I am the charioteer of the east, lord of the past and of the future. I see by mine own inward light, Lord of resurrection, who cometh forth from the dust, and my birth is from the house of death. O ye two divine hawks upon your pinnacles, who keep watch over the universe, ye who accompany the bier to the house of rest, who pilot the ship of wrong, ever advancing onwards the heights of heaven, Lord of the shrine which standeth in the center of the earth. Behold, he is in me, and I in him. Mine is the radiance wherein Ptah floateth over the firmament. I travel upon high. I tread upon the firmament of new. I raise that flashing flame with the lightning of mine eye, ever rushing on in the splendor of the daily glorified Ra, giving my life to the dwellers of earth. If I say, come up upon the mountains, the celestial waters shall flow at my word. For I am Ra incarnate, Kefra, created in the flesh. I am the eidolon of my father Tamu, Lord of the city of the sun. The God who commands is in my mouth. the God of wisdom, is in my heart. My tongue is the sanctuary of truth, and a God sitteth upon my lips. My word is accomplished every day, and the desire of my heart realizes itself as that of the Ptah when he createth his works. I am eternal, therefore all things are as my designs, therefore do all things obey my word. Therefore do thou come forth unto me from thine abode in the silence, unutterable wisdom, or light, or power. So, Hermes, Mercury, Odin, by whatever name I call thee, thou art still nameless to eternity. Come thou forth, I say, and aid and guard me in this work of art. Thou, star of the east, that didst conduct the Magi, thou art the same all present in heaven and in hell. Thou that vibratest between the light and the darkness, rising, descending, changing ever, yet ever the same. The sun is thy father, thy mother the moon. The wind hath borne thee in its bosom, and earth hath ever nourished the changeless Godhead of thy youth. Come thou forth, I say, come thou forth, and make all spirits subject unto me, so that every spirit of the firmament and of the ether, upon the earth and under the earth, on dry land and in the water, of whirling air and of rushing fire, and every spell and scourge of God the vast one may be obedient unto me.
Yes, indeed. Good magic. Presiding Grand Wizard of the Esoteric Order of Dagon, Frank Monday, coming at you. Come thou forth, I say, come thou forth, and make every spirit of the firmament, and of the aether, upon the earth and under the earth, on dry land and in the water, of whirling air and rushing fire, and every spell and scourge of God, the vast and mighty one, may be obedient unto me. So it is commanded and confirmed. So mote it be. All right. Yeah, looking good. We're back. Got a new 100-day challenge coming up, guys, at the autumn equinox. This one's going to be about internal alchemy. And so, yeah, hope you guys screw in for that one. Make sure you hit the like button for YouTube's algobots. Keep them barking like Pavlov's dog. Check back often for updates and live streams. If you're ever in the studio during a live stream, make sure you chime in and you can jump on board and we can banter back and forth. This one's going to be readings and magic, guys. So we'll get into it in just a minute. If it's your first time, don't let it be your last time. Make sure you go over to buymeacoffee.com. Check me out at Frank Monday. Put a little something in the tip jar. All right, that'll keep the lead in the old pencil, the jelly in the donut. Currently, before the new semester begins, and maybe well into the new semester, I've got the old tarot cards out. And so if you're interested in a seasonal tarot reading, first tarot reading with Frank Monday, of course, is free. 30-minute experience, online, one-to-one, in private, or live streamed, up to you. Either way, seasonal tarot reading, just let me know. Go over to buymeacoffee.com, send me a message, and we can set that up anytime you like. I'm very malleable before the new semester begins, which will officially start on the 25th of August. So yeah, exactly 2 weeks before the new semester begins. I always like to kind of showcase channels I like on my channel. No one else ever does it for me, right? I've never heard anyone, well, very few, that would actually say, hey, why don't you go check Frank Monday out and tell him I sent you, right? But I do that for other people. And so here's one I like to give a little feedback on. It's The Machine Lies. If you guys haven't watched him before, make sure you go check him out and tell him Frank Monday sent you. So here's the Machine Lies supercut that I compiled a while back. Just check it out.
lies of the machine on the machine that lies. Basically, on the stream, The Machine Lies, we're taking a very critical look at technology. So the reason we're doing that is because we're looking at the medium that is used to communicate, right, and transmit information, right? We don't think that any form of mediation is neutral, right, but it's laden with values. And so I think that the well has been polluted by technology. So obviously we take a critical look at technology, right? We're looking at different concepts in relation to technology, right? In terms of philosophy, right? And in terms of religion. Now, that is one of the main purposes of the show, is that we really look at where technology and religion, science, and spirituality, where those things intersect, right? Because there's a crisis of the modern world in which there's a majority of the modern world is religious people. Their mindset is secular, and the means they employ are secular. We're living in a post-liberal, post-human, post-geological age, right? So we're talking about the death of liberalism, the rise of the world technological system. Now, we do think that, there's a considerable level of externalization of the ego, and mediation of ourselves through the means we employ. So obviously, we shape tools, but the tools we use shape us, right? So that's one of the main things we're trying to get across on the show, is how technology changes human psychology. If you question the means you employ and what the objective factors of power are in our age, right, then that's the most important question you can ask. Right, that's the most critical stance you could actually take, right? Like, most people don't question, how or what means they use to question, to ask the question itself, right? So we're actually taking a critical look at technology, right, as a primary form of communication, as an objective factor of power in our age, right? And we think that basically we're assuming that a lot of the stuff that we see through this medium is totally made up, right, fabricated, and that is based on the fact that it is artifice. It's produced by a machine, right? So we talk about the lies of the machine on the machine that lies.
All right. Yeah, that's well said. It's pretty much the summation there. See, is it still playing? Yeah, it looks like it is playing. I can't hear it, though. Wonder why that is. Okay, I can hear it now. Yeah, so definitely, if you haven't already, make sure you get over there and check out The Machine Lies, where they talk about the lies of the machine on the machine that lies. Yeah, it's good magic. As I said a moment ago, make sure you check me out on buymeacoffee.com. Get over there and put a little something in the tip jar, man. The time is now. Don't waste a minute. Next one we're gonna check out, guys. We got a little video that I like from Dweller of the Dark. So make sure you get over there to Dweller of the Dark. He's a fairly new creator here on YouTube. He does music and audiobook readings of various horror stories. So yeah, right along my lines, cosmic horror, gothic horror, really good stuff. All the greats, Algernon Blackwood, Robert Bloch, Frank Herbert, Lovecraft, so on and so forth. Yeah, so good. The good. Check it out.
Eagles flying high, cats on the prowl, devils in your bed, their whispers so loud, witches on my heels, so they'll steal, running in the dark, truth they conceal, blood on the walls, splattering a sink. God can't help the dead, no time to think. Hounds howl at night, shadows in the light, fear in every breath, eyes wide with fright. Cards dealt by fate, no way to escape. Threads getting tight, can't see the daylight. Blood on the walls, splattering a sink. God can't help the dead, no time to think. Cards dealt by fate, no way to escape. Threads getting tight, can't see the daylight. Blood on the walls, splattering a sink. God can't help the dead, no time to think.
As well. Yeah, that's Dweller of the Dark, good looking out. A little jamming tune that I will keep that queued up for later perhaps. So we still got that, we still got that background music playing. Nice. Good looking out. I hope y'all good looking sexy people out in Happy Land doing all right tonight. Once again, Frank Monday coming at you like Finnegan. If it's your first time, don't let it be your last time, guys. Make sure you hit that like button. I really appreciate that, man. It's such a small thing, but it does help out the channel. I do realize you have to be logged in order to do it. But yeah, please get it done, guys. Join me in the Adoration of Abraxas if you know it. I just brewed up some black Magick. Got myself a JP Farrell, and so I'm ready for action, man. Get the show started right. Put your best foot forward. Here we go. You may take a deep breath. Hold it for 3, 2, 1, and relax. Return to natural rhythmic breathing, invigorating body, mind, and spirit. Formulate your magic sigil in the triangle of art. Take another deep breath. Hold for 3, 2, 1, and put all your power and energy into that magic sigil, flaming, glowing, scintillating, oscillating in and out of the astral light like smokeless fire. Return to natural rhythmic breathing. Formulate your abrahadabra. Put it in there. A few quick incantations of it is sufficient. I like to do them in sets of 3, 6, and 9. So take another deep breath. You may abrahadabra, abrahadabra, abrahadabra. Get ready to send out your sigil on this third and final breath. Again, hold for 3, 2, 1, and release. All right, release that sigil out into the matrices of the responsive nature of the universe, as it were. It's good magic. How do you practice your magic? I use that simple 3-step method, guys. It's just here it is here. Number 1, Volantia, the wizard's will or magical intent, the E. All right. First, relax in step 1. Then step 2, once you've got that magical sigil, go ahead and use that abracadabra to empower it with that magical intent, that wizard's will. And then once you've released step 3, the paucism step, the unperturbed receptive state of allowing all your magical intentions to just naturally come to fruition. What a thing. What a great thing, huh? Easy peasy, 3-step process. How do you do your magic? Do you do it sky clad under a full moon? JP Farrell's causing a little bit of trouble over here, guys. It's all right. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Let's go ahead and get into it. Let's crack into some magical texts. Make sure everything's looking good here. As far as I can see, everything's good. Yeah, I think we're good to go. I'll drop the link in case anybody wants to join me and participate. in the great work, the study of magic. I welcome the interaction, the feedback, the fellowship, as always. Keep in mind, as always, too, it's always open to paranormal encounters. So let me know what you know, because I don't know what you know. Let me see how we've got these pages lined up for you today, guys. I think they're looking pretty good. Little lag on the computer, though. That's to be expected. It's kind of just the way it works, huh? Ain't no way around it. Computer's gonna lag. They gonna do their thing. Yeah. Can't be helped. Alright, a couple different things we gotta get into. And then finally this one. Let's see, why is it on that page? Should be on that page. Yeah. Alright. Perfect. So we'll make our way back through that, and then we'll do that. I don't know if I reminded you or not to check me out on buymeacoffee.com. But yeah, if you'd like a direct link to tune in, how do we share this screen? Pull back that music just a little bit more. All right, that should be perfect. Entire screen, allow it. Let's see how it's gonna look. Which layout does it automatically go to? That's not my preferred layout. I like this one. See if it'll how long it'll take to get there. Yeah, it's really super slow on the response rate. Look at that. So slow. So slow. Yeah, it is. You know, it is what it is. All right, let's jump over to the first page here and see what we got for you. All right, that's 1, 2. See how that does that? 2 and 3. Oh, okay, so here's where we left off, everyone. We were dealing with Israel Regardie, the art and meaning of magic. And so if you go back in the videos and check out the last few live streams, there was the meaning of magic part 1 and 2. So you're definitely going to want to read those. Or not read, rather. Just check them out. Yeah, just listen. So I did a presentation on Israel Regardie's essay, The Meaning of Magic. Man holds the magical theory, is a more or less complicated creature whose several faculties of feeling, sensation, and thinking have slowly been evolved in the course of aeons of spiritual evolution. It is fatal to ignore these faculties. Yeah, because they're an answer to some inner need, aspiring towards divine union, a laudable goal. So we'll not recidivate too much. Just know that the foundation is there. Now we're getting into the Applied Magic by Dion Fortune and the Group Mind. We're here at page 25. If you've been keeping up with the studies, and the potency of ceremonial, physically performed, does not rest only in its appeal to the entity invoked, but also in its appeal to the imagination of the participants. This is a real and powerful aspect of ceremonial magic that can't be so discursively overlooked. It happens on a world scale constantly with things like parades and ceremonies, commemorations, memorials, so on and so forth. So why shouldn't you be in charge of your own mastermind group that does its own theater of the mind? Even as a solitary practitioner, it can be quite hard to make some of the breakthroughs that are easier with a collective group, right? With like a group of aspirants that are working towards the great work. So as an adept working alone will work a ritual in picture consciousness on the astral, in the astral temple, without moving from his meditative posture, and this ritual will be effective for the purposes of invocation. But if he wants to make an atmosphere in which the development of his pupils will advance, as in a forcing house, and if he wishes to raise his own consciousness beyond its normal limitations, transcending his own willpower and unaided vision, he will make use of the powers of the group elemental developed by ritual. This group mind or ritual elemental acts upon the participants in the ceremony in exactly the same way as the mob emotion acts upon a peaceful city of men. And just as capable of raising consciousness to the level of angels or lowering it to the level of feral beasts. And one or the other may be necessary, right? You either go up or down from the center Dantian. So when you're coming out of the terrestrial Dantian, then you may elevate aspirants to angelic heights of divine bliss, or the opposite may be necessary. Get a little sip of that black magic, guys. When our emotion goes out strongly towards an object, we are pouring out a subtle but nevertheless potent form of force. If that emotion is not a mere blind outpouring, but formulates itself into the idea of doing something, and especially if that idea causes a dramatic mental picture to rise in the mind, the outpouring force is formulated into a thought form, a servitor. Yeah, an elemental. The mental picture is ensouled by the outpoured force and becomes an actuality upon the astral. This thought form itself now begins to give off vibrations, and these vibrations, by the law of sympathetic induction of vibration, tend to reinforce the feelings of the person whose emotion gave rise to them, and to induce similar feelings in others present whose attention is directed to the same object, even if they have hitherto been disinterested onlookers. A lot of you may overlook this day-to-day magic, as it were, but it's really potent and powerful, and it's what pulls people back in to the narratives that they're generating here online with panel discussions and events that happen in panel discussions, right? Someone gets kicked, the next day other people are talking about it. That's the very same process. So magic, don't think of magic as being in a class above and beyond you just because you're not initiated into it. You're either being the unwitting tool of magical practitioners, or you start to learn it and participate in the grand theater of human life, right? So get behind the curtain, as it were. Join us in the green room. And the Blue Lodge, the Red Lodge, the Black Lodge, whatever level you want to get involved. Where'd we get to? It will be seen that the theory of the group mind is now being associated with the doctrine of autosuggestion as formed by Baudouin. And these two established psychological concepts are extended by association with the esoteric concept of telepathy. Take these three factors together and we have the key not only to the phenomena of mob psychology, but also to the little realized power of ritual, especially ritual as it is performed in the occult lodge. Yeah, so really getting behind the scenes here, guys, to get into the inner machinations of magic. Let me pull away from this for just a moment and see how we're doing out there in Happy Land. I don't know why my computer's not responding. Ah, okay, there it goes there. That looks pretty good. And we'll recheck the banners here. Drop that. And yeah, let me check the lives. Must be a lot of folks out there going live right now on a Friday night. Let's check our times here. Check our times around the world. We've got 1 p.m. here in Twilight Zone Old Peking, 10 p.m. in Los Angeles, California, 10:50 rather. Nearing midnight in Memphis, Tennessee, and Dallas. Already past midnight in New York City. Wow, 6 a.m. in Dublin, 10 to 7 in Paris, and so on and so forth. Doesn't seem like I have any Australian cities on my world map loaded up. That's all right, though. That's all right. It is what it is. Man, it feels like it's getting kind of hot and weird here. Maybe I might be encountering some high strangeness right now. So I'm gonna open those lines to paranormal encounters, and if you've had one or have heard of one, the full moon tonight, guys. I'll be experiencing it tonight. You guys might not be experiencing it until whenever your time frame allows it. But I'm going to check that real quick, see when the moonrise and moonset is tonight. It says that the moonrise will be 7:01 p.m. and then it'll set at 3:35 a.m. So it's going to be up for 8 hours in the evening, but sunset doesn't actually occur until 7:20. So it'll be interesting to get out this evening around 6 and watch the sunset and the moonrise near simultaneously within like 20 minutes of each other. That'll be fun to do. I'll have to get to a high point somewhere in the city and have a look at that. That'll be really wonderful. Oh, if I got this tuned in correctly, I'm not sure that I do. I think I do. Yeah, it says the moon's going to be 99.9% full tonight. It's at 99.8% right now. And maybe it's already past its apex. Apogee. No, it doesn't say that it has. Altitude, declination, phase. Okay, no. Moonrise is at 7:30. Sunset today is going to be 7:18 p.m. and then moonrise at 7:32 p.m. Here in Beijing. This is Twilight Zone Old Peking, guys. So it'll probably be different where you're at. A useful little calendar that I found. It's called timeanddate.com. I learned about that from a guy on Ironwork 92,000. He turned me on to that one. So I can appreciate that. Thank you for that. I think that was Harmon told me about that website, if I remember correctly. You never know. I might be wrong. If you're out there, Harmon, let me know if that was you. I think it was you. And for anyone tuning in now or later, please hit the like button, guys. Leave a comment on the video. Get involved with the show. Stop by, say hello. Let me know what you've been up to recently. We're going to do a little esoteric guardian here, guys. Let me see if I can cue it up. Yeah, serious lag on my laptop. Man, I'm going to have to set up a whole new computer one day because I had refurbished this one, put in new RAM, etc., new hard drive, and it still doesn't function 100%.
As to where they begin, for at times I feel appalling vistas of years stretching behind me, while at other times it seems as if the present moment were an isolated point in a gray, formless infinity. I am not even certain how I am communicating this message. While I know I am speaking, I have a vague impression that some strange and perhaps terrible mediation will be needed to bear what I say to the points where I wish to be heard. My identity, too, is bewilderingly cloudy. I seem to have suffered a great shock, perhaps from some utterly monstrous outgrowth of my cycles of unique, incredible experience. These cycles of experience, of course, all stem from that worm-riddled book. I remember when I found it, in a dimly lighted place near the black, oily river where the mists always swirl. That place was very old, and the ceiling-high shelves full of rotting volumes reached back endlessly through windowless inner rooms and alcoves. There were, besides, great formless heaps of books on the floor and in crude bins, and it was in one of these heaps that I found the thing. I never learned its title, for the early pages were missing.
Yeah, to chime in there real quick, one of the things you might be interested in is finding a grimoire or book of magic that will aid you in your studies. You may be at a place where you need some fresh input. All throughout my life, I've been acquiring, perusing, working on, and using grimoires and tomes of antiquity, some legitimately old. Like I have a couple of 15th century books, but most are modern day transliterations, right? But I do have a few. I've got some old Chinese ones, some scrolls that I purchased when I first got over here, but I don't really have an eye for what could be like a genuine article and what's a reproduction, because so many of it ends up in private collections and in, under government control and in museums and, government controlled libraries and stuff. And they don't allow most people direct access unless you're in a program like I was in, which is a PhD program in study to a specific field. Mine was poetry, but I realized early on that the ancient Taoists during the Tang and Ming dynasty, Ming and Tang rather, they encoded Tang and Song as well. They encoded a lot of their magic into idiomatic expressions and poetry. And so, yeah, I had the rare opportunity to acquire a few of those and have access to quite a bit more. But yeah, so all you need to do is follow that same magical procedure, right? Like I had mentioned a moment ago. So get into that volantic state of unperturbed, consistent will, calm yourself, go into trance, make a magical sigil that will bring a text or document to you, and then send it out, and then go out looking, and do that every time before you go out looking. You might want to use one of a more advanced magical process, like take a single sheet of paper, tabula rasa, choose a good color of ink that you like, and write down a little narrative about you finding a magical text at a bookstore or swap meet or flea market or yard sale or something like that, and then using it to make a breakthrough, to level up, as it were, and then do that again and again until you get one, and come back and tell me about it later on, because that's a part of the breaking through those the drudgery of day-to-day life, right? No, according to the prophet of our aeon, no new horror can be more terrible than the daily torture of the commonplace. And sometimes it requires you to take a large step. Like me, for example, the last magical book that I procured, I actually had to fly to London in order to do it, and go to the Atlantean bookstore, which is right across from the Museum of London, the big one, where they've got all the antiquities of the world. And I was able to, it took an entire summer for me to complete that mission. Another time prior to that, like 3 or 4 years prior to that, I had to fly out to Los Angeles and go through magical initiation at the Church of Hermetic Sciences with Poke Runyon. And so that can be a huge expense, but you might be able to find something in a local bookstore, a book of poetry, or a book of philosophical works that will help you. One line in the book could be enough to do it. And you just got to follow that golden light and let that magic happen. So that's something you might work on as we head into winter, because, winter is the time to work on pneumatic processes, right? It's when the energy returns to the mind. And so you can get that item, become aware, start to recognize and learn, and then move towards mastery. There was an ancient wise guy here from the Foshan Mountains. His name was Gao An. And he said, he got accused of reading a single book for 50 years, and all the other monks are like, yeah, you're never going to be able to advance your knowledge if you don't read more widely. And he's like, once you've got a good magical text, better to read that one 1,000 times than to read 1,000 books once. And so there's something to be said for that old Chinese mindset of actually making the wisdom ingrained within you in the li, in the warp and woof of your brain matter and your life, as it were, to actualize things. You know, people these days, they run out in 1,000 different directions and get nothing done, right? They put a little bit of effort into digging all these small, shallow wells all over the landscape and then never strike water. Whereas if you just focus on that one single well and dig it deep enough, then you'll definitely hit water. And so there it is there. Let's play a little more of this.
But it fell open toward the end and gave me a glimpse of something which sent my senses reeling. There was a formula, a sort of list of things to say and do, which I recognized as something black and forbidden, something which I had read of before in furtive paragraphs of mixed abhorrence and fascination penned by those strange ancient delvers into the universe's guarded secrets whose decaying texts I love to absorb. It was a key, a guide, to certain gateways and transitions of which mystics have dreamed and whispered since the race was young, and which lead to freedoms and discoveries beyond the 3 dimensions and realms of life and matter that we know. Not for centuries had any man recalled its vital substance or known where to find it, but this book was very old indeed. No printing press, but the hand of some half-crazed monk had traced these ominous Latin phrases in uncials of awesome antiquity. I remember how the old man leered and tittered, and made a curious sign with his hand when I bore it away. He had refused to take pay for it, and only long afterwards did I guess why. As I hurried home through those narrow, winding, mist-cloaked waterfront streets, I had a frightful impression of being stealthily followed by softly padding feet. The centuried, tottering houses on both sides seemed alive with a fresh and morbid malignity, as if some hitherto closed channel of evil understanding had abruptly been opened.
Yeah, that's the thing too, right? Those paranormal encounters of high strangeness when you actually start to do and practice magic. If you haven't done it before, you're not going to know. So that's why I recommend that everybody use a simple magical procedure. It may be as simple as something like doing the Lord's Prayer and then writing out a little wish, a wish list, and then going through the cognitive process of ASK, ask and receive, seek and find, knock and open, right? That's one way to go about it. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who have trespassed against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Leolam, amen. Right? And then sit down and put the energy into your curvilinear hieroglyphs of writing out a short narrative and finding one of those texts. You know, many people rely upon the Bible and they just might open randomly to a passage, but you may be a more advanced practitioner than that, than to just, kind of wander about lost in that grimoire, which may not mean a lot to very many people unless you've had some training in the Hebrew language and have, some of the first books in Hebrew, and you know how to study that and use those magical incantations found within. You could start with the 72 names of God, right? The 72 goetic demons. It's just up to you really how you go about it, but you should probably find and write some of your own good prayers, right? Like I have my adoration of Abraxas, and then use those often and go out on these one of these magical treasure hunts, as it were, because in starting with the next 100-day challenge, that's going to be a part of it, is the magical treasure hunt and so-called planting of the golden coin, as it were. And so I'll talk more about that in the coming weeks in preparation to starting the 100-day challenge and then getting involved in it and how all that plays out. Again, the syllabus will be available on buymeacoffee.com. If you haven't participated in one of the older 100-day challenges and you don't know much about it, it's basically 10 minutes of concentrated effort per day for 100 days, unbroken, consecutive, right? And then until some magical paranormal encounter occurs. And yeah, if you have participated, you know that sometimes it happens really quick. Typically, like within the first 30 days of doing the challenge, you're going to have some like encounter of high strangeness and some great transformation, as long as you're consistent with it. Yeah, good magic.
I felt that those walls and overhanging gables of mildewed brick and fungoid plaster and timber, with eye-like diamond-paned windows that leered, could hardly desist from advancing and crushing me. Yet I had read only the least fragment of that blasphemous rune before closing the book and bringing it away. I remember how I read the book at last, white-faced and locked in the attic room that I had long devoted to strange searchings. The great house was very still, for I had not gone up till after midnight. I think I had a family then, though the details are very uncertain, and I know there were many servants. Just what the year was, I cannot say, for since then I have known many ages and dimensions, and have had all my notions of time dissolved and refashioned. It was by the light of candles that I read. I recall the relentless dripping of the wax, and there were chimes that came every now and then from distant belfries. I seemed to keep track of those chimes with a peculiar intentness, as if I feared to hear some very remote, intruding note among them. Then came the first scratching and fumbling at the dormer window that looked out high above the other roofs of the city. It came as I droned aloud the 9th verse of that primal lay, and I knew amidst my shudders what it meant.
Yeah, so that'll be another aspect of doing magic, is having a few magical tools, talismans, and devices like a bell, a small drum, a wooden fish, the burning of incense. You might have a gong, because those are things that signal beyond just yourself and your immediate environment, right? They signal to the greater universe. Obviously, you can call things to you directly if you know how to channel them and how to utilize the magical circle and your triangle of art. But don't engage in these things unless you have some foundational, fundamental understanding of the processes involved, right? And what you're getting into, because you don't want to call up something that you can't handle. And yeah, so be wary of that. Make sure, I mean, if you don't know, go back into the Magic 101 backlog of all my videos here on YouTube and get some understanding. Jump on the bibliography and get some of those books that can help you learn, or seek me out directly and ask me about the practice and how to set up a magic circle, how to formulate your triangle of art, whether you're working in the astral temple or a physical temple, that type of thing. So yeah, let me know, reach out to me. Don't think that you're alone in this endeavor.
For he who passes the gateways always wins a shadow, and never again can he be alone. I had evoked, and the book was indeed all I had suspected. That night I passed the gateway to a vortex of twisted time and vision, and when morning found me in the attic room, I saw in the walls and shelves and fittings that which I had never seen before. Nor could I ever after see the world as I had known it. Mixed with the present scene was always a little of the past and a little of the future, and every once familiar object loomed alien in the new perspective brought by my widened sight. From then on, I walked in a fantastic dream of unknown and half-known shapes, and with each new gateway crossed, the less plainly could I recognize the things of the narrow sphere to which I had so long been bound. What I saw about me, none else saw, and I grew doubly silent and aloof lest I be thought mad. Dogs had a fear of me, for they felt the outside shadow which never left my side. But still I read more, in hidden, forgotten books and scrolls to which my new vision led me, and pushed through fresh gateways of space and being and life patterns toward the core of the unknown cosmos. I remember the night I made the 5 concentric circles of fire on the floor, and stood in the innermost one chanting that monstrous litany the messenger from Tartary had brought.
Yeah, so you're going to want to be wary of that. You know, if you don't have a contact here in ancient Tartary, like Frank Monday, right? Grand Wizard of the Esoteric Order of Dagon, Frater Francis Lunas Aristeas, then, you know, you don't go about this blindfolded and hoodwinked. Make sure that you know what you're getting up to. One suggestion I would have for the neophyte, the aspirant that wants to study, is begin with something simple, like maybe Peter J. Carroll's website on Chaos Magic, or get yourself a copy of some basic magical premiere. You can also get a copy of the Lesser Key of Solomon, the Lemegeton, if you want to join me in the type of practice that I'm doing. But again, don't attempt anything until you have some foundational understanding of what's going on and how it works. We're about running out of time for today, guys. We're almost at the hour mark. I haven't heard anyone chime in out in Happy Land, and so I'll let the rest of this video play out, and then I'm just going to roll off into the abodes of the future. Right? Otherwise, I'll just sitting here masturbating online. That's no kind of fun.
The walls melted away, and I was swept by a black wind through gulfs of fathomless gray with the needle-like pinnacles of unknown mountains miles below me. After a while, there was utter blackness, and then the light of myriad stars forming strange alien constellations. Finally, I saw a green-litten plain far below me, and discerned on it the twisted towers of a city built in no fashion I had ever known or read or dreamed of. As I floated closer to that city, I saw a great square building of stone in an open space, and felt a hideous fear clutching at me. I screamed and struggled, and after a blankness was again in my attic room, sprawled flat over the 5 phosphorescent circles on the floor. In that night's wandering, there was no more of strangeness than in many a former night's wandering, but there was more of terror because I knew I was closer to those outside gulfs and worlds than I had ever been before. Thereafter, I was more cautious with my incantations, for I had no wish to be cut off from my body and from the earth in unknown abysses whence I could never return.
All right. That's going to be it for tonight, guys. Let me know when and where you were tuning in from, and I hope you liked the video. I'm going to go ahead and finish off tonight's show with one more playing of the song from Dweller of the Dark. Let me throw his address up here. You can get over there and check out some music. Make sure you tell him that Frank Monday sent you, and then I'll do the invocation of total integration, and then I'll sign off. So much love and good magic. Probably about 5 more minutes before we roll off into the abodes of the future.
Eagles flying high, cats on the prowl, devils in your bed, their whispers so loud, witches on my heels, so they'll steal, running in the dark, truth they conceal, blood on the walls, splattering a sink. God can't help the dead, no time to think. Hounds howl at night, shadows in the light, fear in every breath, eyes wide with fright. Cards dealt by fate, no way to escape. Threads getting tight, can't see the daylight. Blood on the walls, splattering a sink. God can't help the dead, no time to think. Cards dealt by fate, no way to escape. Threads getting tight, can't see the daylight. Blood on the walls, spattering a sink. God can't help the dead, no time to think.
All right, there it is there. Make sure you guys check out Dweller of the Dark here on YouTube. Tell them Frank Monday sent you. And if you're interested, hit me up for a seasonal tarot reading or a spiritual consultation session. Just go to my Buy Me a Coffee page and let me know a good time and place for you. And yeah, have a great evening, Wayfarer. Let me know. Leave a little comment on the video. Let me know when and where you're tuning in from. And make sure, of course, let's see here, get the old buttons ready. Make sure you, check me out on buymeacoffee.com. Hit the like button. Keep them barking. Get ready for the upcoming autumn equinox to launch into the 100-day challenge of internal alchemy. Join Frater Francis Lunas Aristais of the OTA, Grand Wizard of the Esoteric Order of Dagon, on that upcoming adventure. And I will finish today's transmission, guys, with the invocation of total integration. Let me find the header. There it is there. If you know it, say it with me. You may take a deep breath. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Command yourself to relax. And you may. Heaven and earth are the spontaneous manifestations of the subtle, wondrous universal law. As the original oneness expresses itself, gross and subtle energies become distinctly divided. Our bodily caves are brightly illuminated by the mysterious light from the 3 Dantian elixir fields bridging to immortality. The powerful spirits of the 8 directions conjoin our being with the true origin of life by the absolute order of the divine Lingbao in the highest 9th heaven. Send the positive energies of Qianluo, Danna, Dunkan, and Taishuan to destroy our spiritual obstacles and debilitate any evil influence. These orders are given by the highest sovereignty, a jade oracle from the subtle origin. I invoke with strong sincerity to drive away the demons and evils and lengthen my healthy years. The attained spirits respond. The evil demon king, Mo Wang, is chained to stand as our guard and servant. The powerful atmosphere has been generated, dispersing all negativity. The chi of Tao is everlasting. So it is commanded and confirmed. So mote it be. Amen. Remember, O neophyte, goodness alone is power, silence is strength, will regaineth omnipotence, and love lieth at the foundation. Until next time, keep doing good magic. Check me out on Buy Me a Coffee. Hit the like button. All that happy horse shit that makes YouTube's algobots bark like Pavlov's dog as we wander into the abodes of the future, Wayfarer. Keep doing good magic.